temporary ones, and they're like,
Okay, folks, we're going to get started. Please take your seats. Thank you very much.
I got here only a moment.
I will, can
There's
Aloha everyone, welcome to Pro Arts. My name's Lynn, I'm Executive Director here. We, as always, are extremely grateful to be the hosts of the KCA Community Association at this point. For those of you who don't know about Pro Arts, they always do me this favor of letting me just let you know what we do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit performing arts venue. We have music, comedy, a full theatrical season. We play host to a number of community organizations. We host benefits very regularly. And we also have a number of partnerships with the community, with Maui on Stage, Maui AIDS Foundation, a number of organizations all over the island. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to proartsmaui.org, check us out on social media, or sign up for our email list up at the front. We have a ton of little flyers and things that tell you all about what we do. And just so that you're aware, we also have what's called our Access for All program. This is a program that allows us to provide buy one, get one free or entirely free tickets to those in financial need, because we want to make sure that the arts continue to remain accessible here on Maui. And thanks to the generosity of our sponsors and supporters, we are actually able to extend a program that we've done this past year, where for the entire 24-25 season, we'll be able to continue to give unlimited free tickets to anyone displaced by the fires. So if you know anyone who just needs a night out of healing music or entertainment or community-oriented activities for our Hawaiian Arts and Culture series, any of the events that we do, send them our way. And thank you very much, and thank you for being here this evening. As always, we are grateful to the KCA Community Association. Thank you.
Okay, as a first order of business, Jocelyn Cruz, unfortunately, her flight has been delayed and she will not be able to be here tonight. It's a loss for us, but that's the way that goes. We will move on through that. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to have each candidate give you an opening statement, introduce me. I'm Bob Shaberg. I'm the director at the KCA Community Association. Done? Okay. Let's see, Edward, let's go with you first, huh?
Sir. Aloha, everyone.
Yeah, a lot better.
Sure. You guys in South Maui are rough. All right, there we go. Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Edward Kugilia, and I'm running for the County Council of Country seat. I'm here to share a bit about myself and my vision for our Maui community. For the past 35 years, I've called Maui home, with the last 25 of those years in Kula. This long-term residency is giving me deep-rooted knowledge and understanding of our local community and its unique needs. I've witnessed firsthand the evolution of our island and the various challenges we face. Since 1994, I've been a licensed realtor, full-time here on Maui, with several different brokerages, both large and small. I currently work with Maui Real Estate 808, a brokerage I helped start in 2022. My career has provided me with extensive knowledge and experience in real estate and housing markets on Maui, as well as in community development and infrastructure development and planning. Operating a business in the state of Hawaii has given me crucial insights for addressing issues like affordable housing and economic development. My long-term residency in Kula and career as a realtor reflect my strong connection to the community and my commitment to its well-being. These experiences give me a first-hand look at the challenges Maui faces, such as homelessness, economic disparities, and environmental concerns. This first-hand experience positions me well to understand and address these issues effectively, ensuring that our community thrives. I believe in transparent and accountable leadership. Transparency and accountability are at the core of my approach to governance, as I believe they are essential for gaining and maintaining the trust of our residents. As an elected official, let's make one thing clear. I answer to the residents of Maui. You're my boss, and I'm here to serve you by putting the community's needs ahead of special interests and other governing bodies. I have a clear and proactive plan to tackle the big issues head on: governance, transparency, homelessness, economic equity, infrastructure, public safety, tourism, development, housing, and environmental stewardship. No more smoke and mirrors, just straight talk and real action. My vision for Maui is an island that can maintain and thrive with 160 to 170,000 residents that currently reside here. This means the County of Maui and its departments have a lot of work to do. There was a time when Maui was recognized as the top island destination in the world. However, I want Maui to be recognized as one of the best places to live in the world for its quality of life, for its residents who care for the land and its people, for the services Maui County provides, and for the manner in which it is governed. My advocacy is driven by a genuine concern for my family, friends, and the broader Maui community, as well as this island we call home. Unlike many career politicians, my efforts are not influenced by special interest groups, but are focused solely on the needs and well-being of our local residents. In conclusion, my vision for Maui is one of hope and determination, a community where every resident can thrive without the burden of housing, insecurity, or economic uncertainty. Imagine a Maui where public transportation is efficient and safe for both locals and visitors, where the beaches remain pristine and accessible for families to enjoy, and where our elderly are prioritized in housing needs over out-of-state interests. I envision a Maui where local solutions meet local needs. No more waiting lists for water meters or Hawaiian homes. No more struggling to make ends meet while balancing multiple jobs and generations under one roof. The vision isn't just a dream, it's a call to action. Together, let's work towards a future where Maui is not just a top destination, but a model community known for its quality of life and care for its people. Join me in making this vision a reality. Together, we can build a Maui where every resident can live with dignity and opportunity. Mahalo for your invitation and your support and belief in a better Maui. Edward Cordelia, let's make it happen.
Edward, thank you very much. You got 2 more minutes if you want to talk.
I do know South Maui. I sold real estate when I first was licensed upstairs with Century 20. I do know South Maui. I know your issues. From my visits here, traffic is definitely one. That's probably the biggest issue, and it's been that way for decades. This flooding situation down here on South Kihei Road, it's a long-standing problem. I understand that. Your homeless population is pretty wild, and we're all dealing with climate change and traffic. So, there's a lot of things that have to be adjusted going forward. I think that's what we've learned here after August 8th is we really got to grab it now and not let it get further away from a quality of life that I think we all deserve. And I think that's why we're looking for a better quality of life. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Johnny, you're next.
Hello, good evening. My name is Johnny K. Pronis. This is my first time running for politician. I'm very young, I'm 36 years old. I grew up here in Kihei. I've been moving off and on during my childhood. And why I wanted to become this next council member for South Maui is because my heart tells me to follow what I need to do for my community. I'm also a volunteer member for the Red Cross, setting up shelters for any disasters or hurricane or any fire that comes upon our community. I also do working for volunteer as the Humane Society, caring for animals, getting them care and putting into them foster or adoption. I also go to church functions. I do a lot of participating in, youth or volleyball. And I also my last previous job was working for MEO, helping the community all over the island getting what they need. My job at MEO was employment specialist, getting them jobs to get up their feet, and because this is our future. We need to help the community, help ourselves, so they can get a better life ahead. And that's why I wanted to run. And I'm actually for the people. I'm an individual, independent person that want to help people. Not just because I want to have publicity over, social media. I care about my community and the people that's in it. And right now what we're forgetting is the history of Hawaii, what it was before when everything started to grow. Big development, they call themselves corporations. So what about the people? What about the Kama'aina people that's been here for so long? They're just taking and taking and taking. And what is there for us? There's nothing. So that's why I want to represent all of you. I want to call myself as a community representative for people that want to stand by them, so they have a voice for all of you that's higher up there, even legislation or lawmakers, that has a person that represents everybody here in the islands. And I don't care about capitalism, because that's what it is right now. Because right now, the big boss is Washington, D.C. They're trying to fool all of us because they're the boss. They can just do whatever they want because they have power. They have the money. And that's supposed to not be like that. Is this the world we want to live in? Ask yourself. Because we're all here. We're all residents of Maui. Do we want that here? So please ask yourself, when you vote that primary election on August 10th, are those the people that you want in office? So that's why I want to run. I'm young. I can be the next generation of, being in a U.S. representative or a senator or mayor or governor or maybe the next president. Who knows? I might be in that state in Washington. So I'm here to speak on behalf of you guys that I have an obligation to put myself and my whole community on board. Because we need trust, we need transparency. If there's nothing like that, this whole island will be corrupted. It will be nothing left for all of us here. It will be like a Circus Soleil, not what Hawaii used to be Hawaii. We already lost a lot of stuff here. We already lost the Maui County Fair. And right now, the economy is going so high that we're trying to meet ends meet, pay for what we want to stay here in the islands. And people right now are just moving because they can't afford for their family. So that's why I want to represent all of you. Mahalo, thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you very much. Okay, well, let's move along. Kelly King, way to go.
Okay, is this working? It is. Aloha everyone, thank you to the KCA for putting on this forum. And thank you to all of you for filling up the room. It was a little touch and go there in the beginning, but my name is Kelly Takaya King, and I hope to be your choice again for the Maui County Council South Maui seat. My campaign is about community values expressed in our slogan, Pono Prosperity, creating economic success while doing the right thing for the people of Maui. I'm not here to regain a title, but to continue the job of representing the people of Maui, preserving our environment and natural resources, and responding to and supporting the underrepresented in our community. I've been a resident of South Maui for over 40 years, raised 2 amazing children, have 2 grandchildren, and co-founded 2 successful businesses on Maui with my husband Bob, King Diesel and Pacific Biodiesel Technologies. Under new management and now King Power, our first company continues to thrive and serve the local generator needs of our county as the dealership for Cummins Engine. Our current business, which we still own and operate, Pacific Biodiesel, is based on Maui and is the oldest biodiesel company in America and has set the standard for sustainable community-based production of renewable fuel as well as a circular economy. In fact, recently I was just invited to go to an energy conference in Maine to speak about our model that we've developed over here in Hawaii. We actually have another business. We have Imua Energy LLC, which is our sunflower farm, which many of you may have seen, where we've developed the Sunflower Music Festival and are able to help fund nonprofits that are working on food sustainability through that entity. I've held multiple public service positions and as an elected policymaker and as a board member for many local nonprofit organizations. I'm proud of my reputation for integrity and collaboration, and I've been consistent in my principles and my actions. I was told by Diane Lay, who used to be our FSA agency manager for Farm Service Agency, that we are the most collaborative business she's ever worked with in the state of Hawaii, so I'm very proud of that. I offer my vast experience as a successful business owner, children's needs advocate, environmental champion, and active member of numerous Maui nonprofit agencies over the years, including Hui Malama Learning Center, the Maui Farmers Union, Akaku Community Television, the Girl Scouts, the Maui Boy Scout Council, Maui Nui Food Alliance, Red Cross, and Kihei Community Association, to name a few. My previous 3 terms on the council yielded many successful policies and projects, including 2 South Maui affordable rental developments begun and completed during my tenure, numerous environmental protection ordinances, including wetlands protection and restoration, reef protections, and innovations in wastewater treatment to clean up our oceans, an incredibly successful youth council project, and various climate action measures. My experience and many accomplishments from my previous terms on the council are well documented and can be found on our website, in more detail on our campaign website, kellykingformaui.com. That's F-O-R, not the number 4. As a visionary who has served at the state level through my appointment to the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation, the federal level appointed by the Biden administration to the EPA Local Government Advisory Committee, and also currently working on the international stage as a board member of ICLE USA, I have collaborated with experts, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies across the country and beyond to bring solutions to Maui for our environmental, public trust, and affordable housing challenges. I've been active in children's issues and public education, serving as Maui's elected representative to the Hawaii State Board of Education in the late 90s, and participating at all levels in the PTA. From this perspective, I consider all children of Hawaii to be our collective responsibility. And my focus on sustainability stems from that concern. I seek the opportunity to serve Maui at a time when positive change has been stymied, but is needed now more than ever. Specifically, we need to resurrect the Climate Action, Resilience, and Environment Committee that I created and chaired for the last 3 years of my previous terms. And we need to continue successful programs such as the Youth Council, which I designed with my staff to educate, uplift, and encourage young leaders to take our places and create the world they want for their own future generations. We need solutions now. The community should be able to work together with local government, but many feel disenfranchised by our current system. The need to change our county system of government is why, in my last terms, our council supported charter amendments that included a new county Department of Agriculture, a professional county manager, a public water authority, and better representation on the Maui Planning Commission. As an experienced, successful project manager who understands the balance required for smart growth, I will again work with all of our community to make informed, thoughtful decisions that are in the best interests of the citizens of Maui Nui, not the political or financial gains of special interests. The council member position is a service to the people, not a resume filler or stepping stone. And I look forward to continuing my previous work through effective collaboration, transparency, and strategic goal setting that respects the community goals and values described in our Maui Countywide Policy Plan. Mahalo nui loa for your support.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly, thank you. Yuki?
Is this on? Oh, yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for aloha. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here. And this is the first time I got to meet some of you that are running for this various offices. So thank you very much for putting yourself out there. It means a lot to grow our community. So I am a sitting council member and have been in office since 2017. I will tell you that I love this job. I'm born and raised on Maui. I grew up here. I have seen, I'll tell you what was here before when I was growing up. It was a Zeka shave ice store and the stand of where we would come. When we would come as a family and go to the beach, we had a beach home on Halama Street, which is very different from when we were growing up. But we used to come here on the weekends and we would go fishing and crabbing, and those days you could make bonfires. So we would enjoy family time, and it was very valuable time, which we still value today. But Kihei was very different, and I have not forgotten what it was. And the people still have the beautiful hearts that you had then as you have now, and we need to keep it that way. I wanted to just share with you that I support, as a council member, I'm the Budget and Finance Economic Development Chair, and we have supported many projects in your community. One of them, which I'm very proud, is the Kihei Youth Center. And as you remember, many years ago, Senator Baker and the Kihei Youth Center would have this free children's fair right after the Maui County Fair. It was completely free. It was provided a lot of services from the dental service or the medical service and do Hawaiian arts. It was just the whole youth center facility that was just filled with activities for the family. And it's these kind of family organizations that I stand by and support. And in Kihei, that's a very special one to me, with Ehua as your executive director. I will tell you that some of the things that I was proud to do is, one day I got a call, an email saying, come down to your Kihei Community Center because there was a street rally, I guess, on the street for a father, supporting the father and a mother and a child that had been killed by a drunk driver. And one of the projects that I have done through many years, even before I've been in the seat, is to be against irresponsible anti-drinking. So I came down, I held signs and the whole street was filled with a lot of police supervision, and some of you may have been there. And from that experience, the police officers that I met, I created an ordinance, and what we did was made it illegal, believe it or not, when you would go through a traffic stop, and if you were stopped and you were found to be drunk, after they take you in, they would leave your car there and you could drive it off. So we made it illegal, and after a drunk driver gets pulled in, that car is then towed to a secure place, and they would have to come and pick it up later. But that came from your community. I also participated with Mike Victorino, Miki Oi Place, had a traffic light with Pilani Highway, and it was very cumbersome for the people in Maui Meadows, and I kept on hearing the request to put up the traffic light. That actual developer who had built a community had paid to the state of Hawaii funds to put up this traffic light, and nothing was happening for whatever the delay was. So I worked with Mayor Victorino to put up that traffic light for your safety. So these are kind of policies that I think are very important. And it really is something that I reach across the aisle. I'd like to work with not only the county council members, but also with the state and federal government to make things happen. These are the kinds of actions that I think are really important. The challenges that I think we all talk about for affordable housing, the Kaiwahine project, which took 10 years to build. It got approved during my term and Haley King's term as council members, but it took a lot just to get there, but it took 10 years. I want to encourage you when there are new projects that come up, or projects that come up, please listen to whatever the project is about. Please participate in government, because what you say makes a big difference for our actions going forward. One of the big things in your community and the whole island now is the short-term vacation rental to long-term bill that is before the Planning Commission. And on that, I looked up, I said, how many short-term vacation rentals are there in Kihei? Do you know the 7,000 short-term vacation rentals? You have 3,800. It's a lot, right? And the bulk of it sits in your community. And I am open to listen to what is going to be said with the Planning Commissions. This bill from Mayor Bisson is going through the Planning Commission. And once it comes to us, to hear what was said, learn from it, look at the data, because that's what we need. As I think that the bill that was approved or sent by Mayor Bisson to the Planning Commissions is kind of a sweeping move to make it illegal in 18 months, all 7,000 short-term vacation rentals. And I think more detail and facts are needed, because a lot of them, I'm not sure if residents would be able to afford, you know, with the affordable housing, the HOE or the HOA, homeowners association fees, which I'm looking at, I'm starting to study. It could go up to 1,000 to 1,500 per month, in addition to rent, in addition to for mortgage. Oh, is that the?
That's it.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Let me guess. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom Cook, and I'm your current South Maui County Council rep. This is my first term. 2 years in government has been a learning experience, and I'm really humble and grateful to be able to represent our community. I don't take it for granted at all. I really appreciate the KCA for being able, and the theater for having us here. I think this is the third or fourth time I've been able to come and speak, and it's getting a little more comfortable. I'll give you a brief, I would like, for my introduction, for you to kind of get to know me a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the things I've done, but I think that in order for you to understand what my intentions are, if you get to know my background a little bit. So I'm 69 years old, I'll be 70 this year. I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. I've moved to Maui when I was a teenager, married a girl from Aqua, lived in had a small inheritance from my grandfather, it was $50,000. I bought 4.5 acres, I spent all the money on land, lived in a tent, built a shed, and homesteaded in Kapakula. My son still has that property. His mom, my wife, his mother, and I planted trees 2 years before he was born, and they're like that. My son, my daughter-in-law, and my grandson live on the property. I lived there for 35 years, he's lived there for 17 years. It's in the property. I'm a carpenter by trade, contractor by profession. People go like a contractor and a builder. I kind of get this a lot being like this. It's like people ask about backroom deals and this and that. A contractor is not a developer. A developer like owns a sport team. And a contractor is like the coach. And then like the workers are like the players. And so like, I basically worked my way up to being a carpenter. I built a construction company I wanted to work for that I could never find. Okay, that's basically what my MO was, not necessarily a business. Okay, so why I'm currently the chair of Water and Infrastructure, which is a very important role for the council. I'm very grateful that the members saw that my experiences and my qualities and my qualifications to serve in this position. So what I've done in this position to date this year is basically bring people together, the ranchers, federal agencies, state agencies, county directors, and residents to address the flooding. So I look at it from a builder's perspective as far as like, what's the problem, what are the potential solutions, what are the tools and the resources to correct it. So the good thing about the flooding, if there is a good thing, is it affects everybody. It's affecting the ranchers who own the property, it's affecting everybody. So everybody is very engaged and willing to work on it. There's very little resistance from anybody that I've encountered today to address the flooding. And that's kind of unique because people are all working together. So the Kalaniakoi Gulch is going to be cleaned down. 100,000 cubic yards of sediment. It's accumulated over approximately the last 10 years. 100,000 cubic yards, if you divided 20 yards per truck, that'll tell you how many semi-trucks are going to come out of there. Part of the reason that the flooding is as acute as it is now is because the water's coming down, it doesn't have anywhere to go, and it's delta sheet flowing all the way out. When that's cleaned out in that one gulch, it'll have a place to basically feed the wetlands. It's not going to overwhelm everything. The other aspect is working with the planning department and the public works for Waikoa, the first bridge and the flooding there. A lot of the flooding that is coming there is supposed to be going to Kealea Pond. The sediment and the various streams and up above is diverting it. So basically, if you look at the bridges coming into Kihei, they're both huge, but the first bridge isn't getting much of anything. So this is just highlighting, touching on the fact that by working with the landowners and working with the various departments and identifying the challenges and just coming up with solutions and getting them funded is basically what I'm doing on the council, and looking forward to doing more of it. R1 water, working with the ranchers to get the R1 water from the Kihei plant to South Maui. It'll free up approximately 1 to 2 million gallons of potable water from the hotel and hotels and the golf courses. That potable water will offset how much we have to bring from Yao, which will take some of the pressure off of what we're taking from Central Valley's aquifer. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but I wanted to let you know that the mechanics of addressing these flooding issues, addressing the injection wells, addressing obtaining more source and storage and transmission for water is kind of like what I'm wired for. It's not work, it's fun. And I think that that is what I bring to the table. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. And I'm asking for everybody to take the time, get to know me, assess everybody's qualities, and vote for me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thanks very much. All right, let's get to some questions. Johnny, my first question is for you. You had mentioned the history of Hawaii in your statement. Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? And how does that relate to what you're going to do if you're on the council?
One of that is with the Lahaina fire that we just had. I know there's been a lot of talks about the wetland of, the one Front Street. They wanted to restore everything that used to be in that area. Like to make fish ponds, to gather resources for fish, to bring fish into our oceans, because that's what we're losing right now.
Yeah, these are the ancient fish ponds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coral.
And so what's your plan there? What are you going to do?
First we want to be educated and find some, working around our, environment, finding what we need to support this kind of infrastructure. I know you need water, you need land, and some people to work around it.
Need money?
Yes.
Where are you gonna get the money?
From agency or nonprofit, or, you know, there's always a lot of charity work that people can give, because that's what I do. I volunteer, and it's, for me, giving back to the community, paying it forward. So with my resources, because I haven't had any contribution, but I'm letting the public know that, you know, just a way of giving what's coming from your heart.
Okay, so let me paraphrase this. So your comment about the history of Hawaii and how that's important and why that's important to you is that one of the things that you would do is focus on cultural issues that are relevant?
Yes.
Is that right? And is that through legislation? Is that through initiatives? How would you do that?
Like, we want to get everybody involved. It's not just one person or two. We want the whole world to know what is Hawaii all about. Because that's what we're doing right now. We're advertising. You know, we're bringing tourists here, but how we want to do that is educating everybody that comes here. That's what we're forgetting.
Okay, thank you. Edward, you're next.
I just don't know if I want to go, man.
You used a word that is near and dear to my heart. You ready for it? Traffic.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I understood you to say in your statement that you were going to have some initiatives to improve our traffic situation. Yes?
Yeah.
What are those?
Oh.
Be careful.
I mean, ultimately to me with traffic is that there's just too many cars on the island.
But hang on a second. Now, you live upcountry?
Yes, I do.
So you don't drive in KCA?
I do.
You don't know, oh, you do?
I do.
You know
and
what
I
it's
have
like?
people in my car when I drive. I
You know
don't
what it's
come
like to
along
drive
first.
on that highway out there?
Which
Huh?
highway?
Anyone, either
All
the,
your highways. I drive on all of them.
they're horrible.
Yeah. Were you here in the pandemic when there was nothing? And you
I
could
loved
stand
it.
in the middle
Oh,
of South
yeah.
Key Road and look down both ways and there wasn't a car? There has to be some in between here where we can regulate this and get a little more control. We went to zero in the pandemic. They stopped all of the incoming rental cars. We've seen them out sitting there. There has to be some kind of common ground in here where we
Okay,
can
no,
get it control.
I don't disagree with you. So tell me, how you gonna do that?
You know,
Well, I mean, how, are you going?
well, I gotta get elected. How's that? So if that would happen, you know, if that miracle occurred here on Maui, that I was elected.
You're not gonna get elected unless you tell them how you're gonna do it.
Well, you know, I can tell them I'm not gonna do what's been done. I can say that.
Well,
You know, I'm not gonna let it
look,
ride.
there's no question that during the pandemic, we all lived on an island that we would love to live on if we could. Right?
And I'm not saying we're going there. I'm not saying that's what I want.
We can't go back there,
No.
but, I mean,
There is a way to get, I mean, the governor, the state had it all under control. I mean, they had the no visitors and they let them in slowly. There is a way to, this is tourism, right? To me, this is all rental cars. You know, and then the fact that the people that live here each have a car. Every resident has their own car. So when they go to work alone. So they don't utilize public transportation the way they should. So there's a lot of things that have to be adjusted. I mean, that's the way I see it.
okay, no, I understand. Listen, I'm
And
with
you
you.
want me to give you the answer to legislation I'm gonna create, you know, that part of it, I can't give you that answer right now. That's
Okay.
not, I'm not elected, and, you know, I haven't sat down and talked to, you know, whoever I need to talk to about putting something in writing.
So presumably, if you're gonna try and limit the number of rental cars, you have to limit the number of tourists that come here to rent those rental cars. How are you gonna tell people they can't come here?
I'm not gonna tell anybody they can't come here, but like I said, during the pandemic, when the people.
No,
I want to control it. Well, how's this? Maybe what we do is we just raise the prices, right? So we go to the airlines and we raise the prices for them to fly in here every day with their planes. We just jack up the prices and we get more money here and it becomes more expensive. That's less people visiting. So, I mean, you can go that route.
And I assume you're gonna sit down and talk to the union bosses
I'll
about.
talk to anybody I'll talk to any of them. Any union boss that wants to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to.
People that are gonna lose their jobs because there's no tourists?
Really? They're gonna lose it? There's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kelly, you used the word sustainability several times, and so I have two questions about that. You talked about a sustainable economy
Talking about circular economy.
and food sustainability. So let's talk first about sustainable economy, or whatever you called it. I mean, what does that mean?
A circular economy is an economy that supports the community, meaning that we take our own resources. There is no waste, by the way. You know, everything's a resource. And we use our own resources to create our own products and services and things we need here first. And, you know, use them back in the community, sell them back to the community, keep the revenue here, keep the jobs here, keep the industry here, whether it's agriculture or technology. But it's that's the definition of a circular economy. And I've had people call me up when I was on the council, offering to come in and take all the resources out of our landfill and make carbonized diamonds or whatever they can make for to sell in the world market. People like that define the circular economy as global, and I had to explain to him that just because the world is round, that doesn't make it a circular economy. Our circular economy that we talk about begins and ends in the community.
Okay, I need to translate. Circular economy means that there are jobs or other things going on, money producing things that then reinvest that information back into the economy, into our local economy to promote more jobs, correct?
Well, jobs and revenue.
Okay,
So, you know, if you have a local business that's here versus the extractive hotel chains that take the money and it leaves the state of Hawaii almost immediately, then the money stays here for local businesses. The business that my husband and I operate, 90 cents of every dollar stays in the state of Hawaii. Our counterparts in the petroleum industry is the opposite. 90 cents of every dollar leaves the state of Hawaii.
and by the way, I highly respect you for that. You've done a great service there, by the way, with that company. Kudos to you. But I've thought long and hard about this question of what are we going to do in lieu of tourism so that the people that live here can have jobs. Now, it's clear that one of the primary ones today is agriculture. Laha'i Pono is doing, I think, a fabulous job. And I hope that we can promote more of that. What else is there out there what are the possible opportunities that are the alternative to tourism?
Well, there's technology, there's the film industry, there's the health industry, our first responders, education, most of these areas have shortages, by the way. We need more teachers, we need more nurses, we need more doctors, we need more policemen. I think the fire department's okay, but you know, we have something like, you know, double-digit vacancies in the police department. So we have to start building up these other sectors in our community. And these are the sectors that are not necessarily about tourism. They're about, you know, educating our children, keeping our community healthy, reducing crime for our community. I did some work on the film industry during COVID. That I held a town hall that allowed folks to ask questions about the project that was being proposed to come into the Andaz during COVID. And we were able to talk with the producers of this show, their medical consultants, the union, people who wanted these jobs, the film commissioners. And as a community, we decided, yes, let's let them come in here and try this. They're all going to stay at the Andaz. They're bringing in all their own triage equipment, the gloves, the masks, the testing. They're not going to use any of our resources. Let's see if this kind of operation can work, and let's test it on their dime.
Okay.
And so, you know, the film industry, when it comes here, it's required to get the film credits. they're required to return a 2% of their budget to the community that they're in. So we were able to get some big tents for the schools to use, big open tents during COVID, paid for by that particular project. So the film industry not only benefits local jobs, but they're also required to give some payback to the community.
Fair enough. Thank you. Yuki,
Yes. Yes, Bob.
what is my question for you, Yuki?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
oh,
about the North-South Collector Road, will you?
No. What is it? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'll wait for your question.
Well, you mentioned something, I mean, drunk drivers are clearly, they are, God almighty, they are such a blight on our, I mean, they're so dangerous, And I think the police department does a really good job of having their stop sections or whatever. But here's my question for you. Two things. And I think those of us who drive on the highways here are going to agree with me. What are we going to do about stopping speeders? You realize, I mean, I was on the highway going to Kahului today. Speed limit is 45 miles an hour. There were people passing me at 75 miles an hour. And we're not talking one car. Get on the get on the highway, same thing. I mean, and it's the tourists, some of them, because they're in a hurry to get to the airport. But, so the first question is why, I mean, and I'm not trying to throw mud at the Maui Police Department, but why the hell aren't they enforcing the speed limits? I mean, if I was a cop and I had a radar gun, I'd be making money, bank money, right, all day long. Why not?
Speed. So I will tell you that I am a member of the Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization, the policy board.
I know what it is.
Okay. And so what our vision is for a safe community is called Vision Zero. And it is something that the Maui Metropolitan, the MPO, brings federal dollars here, works with state government and our county to work on projects so that we have safer communities. Complete streets is a phrase that many of you may have heard. And to keep our roads safer, there are different techniques or projects that the engineers do in order to make safer streets. As far as what I just recently saw, brand new speed bumps, right on Honopilani Highway by Maui Tropical Plantation. There's like 5 new speed bumps, right? So that's the department of, in that case, it's a state highway. This is the department's reaction to having safer roads. And in our communities, Department of Public Works has put up speed bumps. But to work within a system and having the complete street philosophy for sidewalks and biking and walkable communities, those are all the directions of the MPO, which I stand firmly behind.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the police department. I'm not talking about the MPO. I'm not talking about sidewalks. I'm talking about people that are driving 20, 30, and 40 miles an hour over the speed limit, and no one's doing anything about it.
I will say that our police department can be where they need to be, right? And so they're not everywhere that you're going to see people speeding, and that happens often. I agree with you. I'm not going to discount that. And there is abuse going on. And I do support, in Honolulu, they implemented the red light, so that at traffic lights, they implement this light so that people will not go through red lights, but will then also be very careful in terms of speeding as you're leaving the traffic lights. So
Hey, you just got to my next question. Great segue. I know that in Honolulu, they also just put up cameras for speeders. Lots of them. Why are we not doing that?
I would like to.
Oh, good. When are you going to do that?
Well, it is something
How are you going to do that?
Well, it is working, like I said, across the aisle and working with state, federal government because there's funding that is connected to it. But it's a, do you know we tried to do this and our community said no, so we took it off. So maybe it's time to put it back.
I would tell them, screw you, you know? You know, the fact of the matter, no, I'm serious. I mean, you know, I think the number of deaths and serious injuries that are occurring on our roadways are going up dramatically. And that's something that the council, as far as I'm concerned, should be paying attention to.
We do,
Okay?
we do, thank you.
Thank you. Tom,
Yes, sir.
so the question that I have to ask you is, being a contractor, that's your DNA. You basically told us that it's your DNA, right?
Yes.
I want to make sure that you can be objective and unbiased when it comes to dealing with developers. Wait, I'm not done. I mean, it's a serious issue, okay? There are people out there that look at you and they say, this guy's a contractor. These developers have this guy in their pocket. Yes or no?
Absolutely not. And I welcome the question and I welcome the discussion because it is a generalization that I hear. And I'm more than willing to answer questions and talk about that.
Wait.
Okay. You tell, I'll answer your questions.
Words are not what's going to answer the question here. What's going to answer the question is conduct, is being there on the council, being there to make sure that they do the right thing, that the EIS is correct, that the conditions are correct. I just want to make sure that you're there.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. And not only that, I want to know if they have the money, the capital and the ability to follow through on their projects, that they're not over leveraged, that they have a Gantt chart that shows their production, what their projected build out is going to be, that we can monitor and hold them accountable, especially when the county gives affordable housing funds. So holding people accountable is basically just, to me, common sense. I don't have any alliance with any developers. My work has been, I've been blessed in the type of work that I've done. So, no, I am very objective. I'll tell you this, since I've been in office, I've helped people who actually weren't helpful to me when I was in business. My position right now as a community representative is to be unbiased. And if somebody needs help, no matter what, that's a kind of a deal. So, like I say, I really like being my age. I'm gonna be 70 this year. And I don't have any big and burning ambitions. I'm happily married. I like my job.
I got another question.
Go ahead.
Do you, as a council member, which you are right now, of course, when you are considering a project by a developer, are you looking at that project in isolation? Or are you looking at all the projects that are on the table coming forward, which clearly will impact that project? How does that work? In other words, what? You're talking about silos, great word for the planning department.
Yeah.
Silos or no silos? What are you doing?
No, you need to look at it comprehensively. What this project's gonna do, the next project's gonna do, what the cumulative impact is, what the cumulative impact is on traffic, on all basic lifestyle. Also the cumulative impact as far as basically taxes. If we build all affordable housing, then that doesn't generate much taxes. Okay, so we have to have a balance and we have to be able to pay for stuff. But I look at it comprehensively and not in a silo. It isn't just one job.
You're not gonna have any more short-term rentals. So just go low income all the way.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
well, that's a good topic, and I'm not afraid to discuss it, because I do have feelings about it, and people need to know and deserve to know how their representatives feel about that topic.
Okay, thank you. Edward. God, this is a good one.
So glad I drove down.
Environmental concerns. Tell me what they are. You mentioned environmental concerns. Tell me what they are.
Sea level rise, number one. Sea level rise, number one.
Well, we're not gonna stop that, so what are you
No,
gonna do?
we're not. Hey, look, what are we gonna do? I mean,
Yeah.
you can't secure the shoreline. It's just not gonna happen.
Well, now, wait a minute. It's one thing to say, oh, man, we got this, oh, there's this concern, soil, but we gotta do something.
Oh, so I'm not, first of all, I'm not gonna solve the problem right now, so, you know, I'm not really.
South Key Road is gonna be underwater.
South Key Road gets underwater every few years.
No, it's gonna be underwater.
Commonplace.
It's gonna be underwater forever.
I've had relatives lose cars down South Key Road in the floods from the
Okay.
wetlands. And it's like an annual thing. I mean, you guys haven't fixed it yet, so asking me what I'm gonna do is a little like presumptuous, because I'm not in office, right? I mean,
Listen to me three
I've watched these guys try to come up with solutions, I see nothing, so there's gotta be something out there. I mean, they're missing something, as far as I'm concerned, or they don't have money, this would be the thing, they don't have
It's
money.
usually the problem.
Right.
Give me your top 3 environmental concerns.
Sea rise, global warming,
Global warming, okay.
and emissions.
Oh, emissions.
Yeah.
What are they?
I got a problem with the cars, man, obviously. I think you get that, right? There's a lot. I think it's too many. I think,
You're
and that
preaching.
emission thing causes problems here. This island is so brown. What I want to know, honestly, since I'm here, why is Wailea greener than Upcountry? Can you explain that to me?
They have,
What do they have? They have better water than we do? We get rain? I don't get it.
They have R1 water, right, Tom? No?
They're currently using a lot of potable water.
Water from
Okay.
Central Valley.
I'd just like to know why we're browner than Wailea as an island. I mean, I'm just curious.
I don't know.
I'm amazed how green it is.
I don't run Wailea, so I can't
I
tell
mean,
you.
so there's a water problem, right?
Definitely.
We're surrounded by an ocean.
And the water problem, of course, creates brownness, as you say, which guess what? Creates what?
Fire.
Fire. Exactly. Fire. Big problem.
We've gone from brush fires to wildfires.
Okay, thank you. Kelly? Let's talk about the wetlands map for a minute, okay? That's something that's near and dear to my heart, as you
One of
know.
my favorite subjects.
Well, I'm gonna limit your time. All right? Because I have a very pointed question.
Okay.
From what I have read recently in the, I guess, Civil Beat, was that where it was? Who knows? Where Councilwoman Lee, in essence, said that the ordinance, which I think you had a hand in, thank you, is really not enforceable. And that this whole map, and everything that we did to get this map, is just gonna sit on the shelf and no one's paying attention to it. You got 3 minutes to tell me how you're gonna fix that.
Well, I do think it's enforceable. I think she's wrong. And she was one of the people who voted for it. So hopefully she believed it then. The purpose of the wetlands over, the wetlands overlay.
How are you going to fix it? Don't tell me the purpose of it.
Fix the map.
I know the purpose. We have a situation here where there's a map that's being delivered to the planning commission for their review and approval, which is gonna go to where? The council, for their review and approval. And from all I can tell so far is, no one is really of the opinion that it's enforceable.
Well, the purpose of the map was to outline where the wetlands are. It wasn't to take away any facilities or any buildings that are already on the wetlands. Because we crossed that bridge back in the 80s and 90s when we were the fastest growing community in the state of Hawaii. We built all over everything. So what we're trying to do is go back to some of the areas that haven't been built on and start talking about using county funding to buy those back, preserve them, turn them back into wetlands, part of the identification, the biggest part of that bill, and I was working with people like Robin Knox and Maui Nui Marine Resource Council, was to expand the definition of wetlands so it didn't just apply to anything that had water in it. If there was some inkling of certain types of vegetation that's identifiable with wetlands, then it could be called a wetland.
Okay.
So some of those areas are dried up because we built on them and we've totally mismanaged our land use. And putting those wetlands back into restoration is important. I funded 3 different wetland projects in South Maui when I was on the council, and those projects are still ongoing. We need to expand those. We need to start buying back some of the property. I mean, I think we're looking at Kulani Hakoi Gulch, but we're already putting over $1 million into cleaning it out, and it's private property. So we should buy that first before we clean it out, in my opinion. I mean, we shouldn't be helping private landowners do the responsible thing. So the wetland bill that I wrote and we passed was more than just about the map. The map was to give us an outline of where we know.
That's it.
Well, you didn't cut anybody else off.
Let's hear from Yuki about this. Wetlands,
It is,
3 minutes.
so wetlands are important. I will tell you, when I was growing up in Kihei, you could see the wetlands, right? And as Kelly just mentioned, you know, some of them are built over, and there are situations. The cries that we heard from a lot of your neighbors when we were looking at the South Maui wetlands is that the County of Maui was trying to designate their private property as wetlands, and here they have businesses on it or different things, and we heard this cry to make sure that we didn't include property that should not be taken from them, we should not buy it from them. And so that was one problem that we had. The other thing that I asked the question is those projects that were identified as wetland, and if the county wanted to buy them from private owners, where's the budget? I'm budget chair, so where's the budget?
Well, I was just gonna ask you that. I mean, Kelly.
I can answer that.
What?
It's in the open space fund. Those are the funds we look for to do these kinds of things, and we bought property all over this county with open space funds to preserve it. When we looked at the wetlands bill, and we are identifying wetlands, we're not saying we're not gonna identify just because there's a building on it. We identify where all the wetlands are. We don't want increased development, even if there's already a development on any more wetlands. And so it's just kind of stop where we're at. Let's not add anything more harmful to the wetlands. Let's preserve what we can and restore what we can. We had over 200 acres in South Maui of wetlands at one point. We're down to less than 25. And that's a big reason why we have all this flooding.
Okay, I got it. Madam Budgeteer, where are you gonna get the money?
So as you know, right, we have a balanced budget, and in order to have a balanced budget, we need to look for a revenue source and then what the expenses are. First thing we do is we pay for the operations of our county so that we can provide safety and what you need, trash and everything that you need to run your households. But on top of that, we have projects such as this that the administration and the council can designate X amount percentage of funds. Open space is one of them. Affordable housing is another one. As well as designating in the budget under a certain category, we could have, like how to preserve whatever wetlands or whatever projects that the council members or the mayor may have. And that's how we run the county.
Okay, so forgive me, I should know this. We have the new budget, correct? Right?
1.2 billion.
Right? How much money is allocated for wetlands?
Ooh. You know what, I don't know the answer. I can get back to you. I didn't look that up.
There is some, though.
There's some.
Tom,
So there's
you know?
well, let me just tell you how you should appreciate Tom, is that Malaya has, I think it's called Malaya Wetlands, which is Malaya Malka, which was a project that was dead in the previous administration. And what Councilmember Cook did was he revived it. And so today, that particular project, which is wetlands, well, that's what it was called right? It was called wetlands in the budget.
Watershed preservation. Watershed.
Doesn't matter. I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay.
So I know that it's, the 2024 budget pretty much got exhausted for the open space fund. And we retained the $5 million that Shane Sinensi put in to purchase money from Savio, the developer, and 2 of the different gulches. And process it, those are in process. We're gonna probably have to spend more. It's inappropriate to say how much more, I don't know. The open space fund is a percentage, I think is it 3%? I think it's 3% of the budget. This, and I could be, don't like throw me on office because I don't know that statistic. What we did this year, we're identifying the fact that when we buy open space, there needs to be a budget for maintenance. And previously, you couldn't use money from the open space fund to maintain it, which didn't make any sense. So we're in the process of creating legislation to include that.
Okay, so let's clarify that, all right? So you allocate money to clean out the gulch, correct?
Well, that's a different budget.
It doesn't matter, but it's now cleaned out, right? It needs to be maintained.
Yes.
Where's that money coming from?
Ideally, what happens is you turn it over to a nonprofit, and the county can help fund part of it. Let me clarify something. The county and the state are both adverse to owning property because of the liability. So when they buy a piece of property, like the Ma'alai Malka property, they did it because they basically could right away flip it and take care of it, somebody else take care of it. Parks Department does not have the staff to take care of it. When they bought Jaws and the 35 acres out there, and it was a wreck. So I'm just sharing with you, the government and the community are advocate purchasing property. I'm advocating buying the wetlands in different areas. But you also have to have it lined up for who's going to be responsible for the liability and the maintenance of it. So it's not just buying property.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the maintenance of it is critical, right? I mean, it's one thing that, I can see going in and clearing the gulches out, and that's wonderful, that's great, God bless you, right? But if someone doesn't come by every 6 months and maintain that, it's just gonna grow back, and who cares, right?
The reason, may I answer that?
Please.
Okay, the reason the county paid to clean that out on private property was because it was an accumulation of silt over a number of years, and the county owned some of the responsibility because they didn't enforce it along the way. And the part of the challenge of them enforcing it along the way was that because we have these weather events and the deer, two different variables, that all of a sudden we get like choke sediment in the gulch, much more than before. The landowner changed, there's the variables. So it's being cleaned out, the landowner will have to maintain it. The reason it's being cleaned out is because it's a major flood effort, and the federal government is cost sharing for that, and so we took advantage of their generosity to work with them.
Okay, Johnny, don't go to sleep on me. I'm coming back to you. Edward, let's talk cooler gulches, huh? No, come on. What? So what's going on with the cooler gulches? I watch TV every night and they tell me that they're cleaning them all out, is that right?
Their volunteers are. The volunteers are cleaning them out. That's as far as they're going right now. Guys are volunteering and going up and taking their equipment up and clearing when they can.
So
it's a part-time deal. There's nobody up there that's doing anything, except the fire department's up there, but they're at like 7,000 elevation.
So you didn't learn a lesson from the fire, did you?
Yeah, I learned a few.
I mean, how long did the fire burn in those gulches? Weeks, months? Months?
Yeah, and we didn't have water for over 6 months, and we learned a lot, yeah.
So why is it that they're not helping you? What's going on?
They don't see the risk as my assessment of it, that it's not as risky as they may think it is. But I think the new fire up here just brings to light that it's all at risk right now, and it really has to be maintained, and landowners have to take care of what they can, the private landowners. And the county people have to get out there and take care of it as well. I mean, you know, the county used to be blue collar. They used to have lots of employees that went out in the fields and did a lot of things, worked in the water department, roads, sewers, and things of that nature. And that's all kind of contracted out now. So I'm not really sure who's supposed to be responsible for cleaning all this up. I don't know if they put out a bid for it or how it actually works. But, you know, we learned a lot, but this is Maui, and sometimes things just kind of go back to complacency. And
Okay, well, so that's great. So if you
it's not great.
So
It's
if
not great.
So if you were a council member, what would you do to fix it?
I'd put people to work.
Which ones?
Whatever department's in charge of going out to the forestry and getting out there and cleaning it up. They need more employees, obviously. They need to pay them better. I mean, we can get into all of this stuff, but, you know, I'm just, I think Johnny wants to talk.
You're just trying to distract me.
No,
No?
I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
Johnny, you mentioned, God, I love this one, Johnny, this is good. You mentioned that you need to change the situation of the big bosses in DC. What do you mean by that?
Right now, it's called capitalism. You know,
It's called what?
capitalism.
Money.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
You know, the government.
right, got it.
So what we need is transparency, trust. You know, all of us here, we put these people in office. So by putting them in office, did any of you read the description of what they're running for? You know, is it because they're on the ballot and you see their name, maybe I want to vote for them, but not really looking at what this person is capable of doing in this kind of seat, you know, bringing it to the table, you know, because that's what you're supposed to find out. People are just voting, but not really sure.
Okay, all right, what's that got to do with being a councilman? I mean, what's that got to do with you being a councilman? What's the initiative that you're gonna undertake to fix that?
We want good, kind people running in office. Not because it's the money. Me, I want to represent all of you. I don't care about the money, you know? I want to stand beside you to know that there's a voice for me to represent all of you. Because that's not what they're getting when they're in office or in the state capitol or in Washington, D.C.
And so let's talk about transparency for a moment. We've heard that from several people, right? It's a great word. What do you understand that to mean?
What we all want is, we want to fix all of this, what we're going through. Because right now, if you look at social media, everybody's blaming each other or trying to figure out who to blame. But we need to come out and sit down and work together, because right now there's nothing being done. It's just everybody's blaming each other.
Okay, all right, thank you. Kelly, forgive me if I got the words wrong, because I was writing quickly. But I understood you to say that one of your initiatives was to, quote, change government? Tell me about that.
Change the system.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's a fairly large task, don't you
It
think?
is. probably one of the biggest proposals that we made, and I worked with several groups in the community.
Okay, hang on. What systems are we gonna change? Tell me what they are.
Okay, I'm telling you what some of the systems that we're trying to change, and one of them is the governance system.
What's that mean?
And meaning that we were proposing a county manager system where we could hire a professional county manager to run our departments, put them on contract, separate from the mayor, so that they're doing a good job, they don't end in 4 years when the mayor goes out of business, or 8 years, or whenever that is. But if we get somebody good in here, who we've never really had a good slate of professional qualified directors throughout all of our departments. We've had a lot of cronyism, we've had a lot of nepotism in our departments, but we need to start looking at qualifications. And so if we get a qualified county manager who knows how to run the departments, and by the way, I've talked to some of our managing directors who are very frustrated, who supported the county manager proposal, because they've been very frustrated that they don't have any control over our departments.
So wait a minute, so this is how that would change. Help me out. Right now, as I understand it, the mayor appoints the directors. And what you're suggesting is that the council would hire a manager, a professional county manager to come in,
Right,
and then he would appoint the directors.
right. Work with the mayor to appoint directors.
Work
and
with
hold
the
them
mayor.
accountable.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Work with the mayor or do it by his own?
Well, I think he should have the final authority, because we want professionalism. We don't want somebody hiring their relatives or their friends because they need a job. We need somebody who's looking at qualifications. I mean, we went through this big disaster because we had somebody, the head of our Maui Emergency Management Agency, who was not qualified.
So, again, I'm not sure about this, but isn't it true that the council members have to approve those directors?
Well, right now it is, yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so the way the current system works is those council members, those appointees, potential appointees, come to you guys, and you decide whether they're qualified or not, correct?
Yes.
So what's
But
wrong
they're
with?
nominated by the mayor right now.
So-
I'd rather have them be nominated by a professional county manager who understands that you need qualified people at the head of these departments. They should be hiring their deputies. And what happened all through my terms is that the mayor hires the director and the deputy director. And sometimes the director doesn't even want that deputy director in their department, but they have no control over it. And you can't fire them because they're hired by the mayor. So, what we're getting a lot of is filling seats without qualifications.
So will this require any kind of constitutional change to take that authority away from the mayor?
That's what the charter amendment is. It's our constitution. So when we make an amendment, the charter is our constitution. When we make an amendment to that, we're making an amendment to our county constitution.
And who votes on that?
All of the public.
So you would basically go to the public and propose an amendment to the charter, taking this authority away from the mayor and giving it to this new manager.
Right, and there was actually a task force several years ago, before I was on the council, that was put together just to study this issue.
Yep.
There were people on that task force who were against the county manager until they got on the task force and started researching how this is happening in other communities across the country and how they're saving money because of the efficiencies that are built into that county manager system. So there was more, even though there's a higher salary for the county manager than the current deputy or managing director, the monies that they're saving by running things efficiently and actually getting stuff done will exponentially make it worth it. I've talked to a couple of people who went into that task force almost being tasked with killing the idea. They came out of it a big fan of the county manager system.
Okay. Madam Budgetary Person. How much does a county manager cost?
So first of all, it never got as far to be discussed in such detail. So it's a concept. It didn't make it to the ballot. None of you.
Yeah, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It was on the ballot. It was on the ballot. It didn't get passed. It didn't pass.
Okay, sorry.
People are telling us that it didn't pass,
Yeah,
okay?
it didn't pass.
During your term, while you've been on the council, it was on the ballot.
It was on the ballot during your
So I apologize. So you can't answer my question because you never got there.
So as far as the detail of how much it would cost, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we heard a lot of concepts about that the county manager would be independent, independent person. As far as what the salary was, you have to hire somebody who's like corporate USA, get paid more than the mayor.
Okay.
Usually the mayor's the highest.
Okay. So Tom, what do you think about this?
I think my 2 years in government has given me a really good insight to be able to answer this question. I think that the managing director concept makes a lot of sense because professionalism, I heard like $350,000 a year ballpark for that type of, for somebody to be willing to do it. I think the mayor's like 160 or 170, I don't know exactly what he makes. The challenge with our local government is we have public employee unions and you cannot hire, fire, or give raises. I am not against the public employee unions. I wish, because the benefit of a public employee union is you have continuity and institutional knowledge over an entire career where somebody works for the county for like 30 or 40 years. The bad thing is that it's the current process, we can't give people more money. It takes a year to hire somebody or 2 years. We have 700, I believe there's 700 vacancies out of 2,700 vacancies. And
Vacancies where?
in the county. The county has 700 vacancies. We might have filled some of them, but a lot of people get paid.
Wait. I want people to understand this. So like, in the planning department, there's how many vacancies?
I don't know what it is.
Yes, give me a ballpark.
I know that the park rangers, which I feel really strongly about, there's 2 and there's supposed to be 8. And they get paid so little that they can't get anybody to even consider doing that job. And I think park rangers are something that would be a great benefit to our community, but they don't have them.
So wait a minute. So would a professional manager fix this?
A professional manager would have a challenge. He would not be able to fix it unless the existing structure of the public employee unions was changed.
Huh?
Or she.
Okay, that's not gonna happen.
I think that the idea is valid, and to investigate it and to address it and to see the benefits of it is sort of nudging and pushing our government's management forward. I think that just because it's not going to happen right now doesn't mean that it shouldn't be considered and it shouldn't be used as a point of reference of how we can improve it. We need improvement. We need improvement in our local government, without a doubt.
So Yuki, you in favor of this or not?
I will tell you that it just depends on the details.
Boy, that's
Not an answer.
a good answer.
Is a big concern, right? And the emails that I remember receiving when this was being talked about is that person will be over and beyond the current structure of the mayor. So I don't know how it all fits together, and I think that the details, just like the short-term vacation rental bill, is the devil's in the details.
Okay. I have a really important question, so you've got 1 minute.
I would just like to correct that because we did have a 40-page detailed proposal of how this all fits together and how the county manager works with the mayor. The county was not ready to eliminate the mayor in favor of a county manager, so there was going to be 2 of both positions working together.
So they didn't have a stalemate.
Well, there were certain powers that were given to the county manager and certain powers that were given to the mayor, but they were still in the same office, and that the mayor would be the one that whose values would kind of lead the process of our community goals.
Okay. All right, this is a 2-part, this is a question for Tom and for Yuki, all right? And I'm gonna let Yuki go first, okay? What is the current situation with the mayoral appointments for the Planning Commission and all other commissions? Right now, as I understand it, the Planning Commission has taken up the issue and they are going to discuss the slate of nominees.
No.
Yes,
So the status is, as you know, there was a lawsuit filed,
I do.
right? And that lawsuit that was filed basically stopped the process that was going on
Illegally.
January 31st. The mayor's nominees were submitted late, and therefore it became null and void according to the charter. And so then the council proceeded.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. The judge completely disagreed with you
Yeah,
about
the
what you
judge-
just said. The judge issued an injunction. Let's not bamboozle these people.
Yep.
Don't bamboozle them. It was not late. The judge issued an injunction because it was not late.
Yep.
And he directed the commission to take the mayor's list
Nominations, yep.
and vote on it up or down. And if it was down,
Yep.
under the ordinance, it goes back to the mayor
Yep.
for another list.
Exactly.
That's where we are, right?
Nope.
So.
Don't tell me it was late and all that kind of stuff, because that's not true.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so.
Don't be Donald Trump on me, all right?
We should be respectful. But the process of where it is now, the mayor's list that came to us, is gonna go before the full council, and then we'll take action there.
And when does that happen?
The council meeting is on the 19th.
Of this,
Yeah. I don't think, no, it's not on this, it's gonna be the next one, that'll be in August.
and Tom, what do you have to say about this?
I would say that in a little bit of pushback to what you're saying, the interpretation of what the judge was is what it was, but the interpretation and the actions of the council working diligently for 3 weeks under the blessing of Corp Council,
That screwed up.
daily participating and instructing us that it was okay. And I'm just sharing, like, it was all with good intentions. Corp Council, we were operating under what they said.
Wait.
So I'm just sharing with you that.
Time out. I understand that Corp Council completely bailed on you guys.
Exactly.
Changed their mind and said, you know what, I'm sorry, oops, I
Yep.
told you it was okay.
Yep.
It wasn't.
Yep.
So
Well,
let's not talk about Corp Council blessing what you're doing.
Yep.
no, well,
That's right.
Really, all I want to know is there some
it's gonna
date in
be
the future where this is going to be taken up seriously?
within a couple of weeks, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know the exact date, that the mayor is going to send down another list, and we're gonna do this, we'll march through it again.
Okay, under the rules that are in the ordinance.
Correct.
Okay, and I guess my next question is, do the members of the council, and I don't know the rest of them, by the way, are they concerned that the actions of the commission right now are ultra vires? It's a good legal term that means void.
Acutely aware, and that is why everybody worked so hard. All of the council members yielded their committee days to work with a great committee for 3 solid weeks. We did not take time off. We worked diligently and as ethically and as sincerely as possible. We know how critical this is. The ethics board, ethics commission is short. Planning commission is short. So many of the commissions are short. The reason that the council did what we did to move forward was to fill these positions because the independent nominating board was delayed for a variety of reasons, but it's not going to address it. We're trying to address it. It is not a power play, it is a service to the community, and that, it just, please accept the positive intents and recognizing, yes, shoulder to shoulder, this is a very critical issue that needs to be addressed.
Okay, thank you. One of my principal concerns is that the planning commission is making decisions every day now. They're making referrals to the planning department every day now. Without, are those subject to challenge later because they were done illegally?
I don't think that they're doing it every day because they don't have a quorum half the time. So the problem, and it is a problem, is they're not being able to do the decision-making and the services to the community that we need to move things forward because they lack a quorum. They have a hard quorum of 5. If one person doesn't show up, they can't meet.
Is that right, Yuki? Yeah?
That's what's happening. That's why it's really important that we fill these positions. So this error, whatever side you're looking at, it needs to be corrected. And once the lawsuit was filed, all the commissioners that thought they were appointed were told, don't go to any meetings because of this lawsuit. And then even now, there's quorum issues.
Okay.
And it's stopping progress. It's really serious.
Well, can I add to
Quick.
Okay, because the planning commission continues to meet without representation for South Maui. And we've been to some of these meetings about the South Maui plan, asked them point blank not to meet until we get representation on the planning commission, which is required by our charter. And they continue to meet and make decisions on some of the policies in the plan. So that's the part that I think you're talking about that may be illegal. These may be void decisions because they're making decisions without giving
Okay, we just talked about that. Thank you.
Well, it wasn't specific
Oh,
about that.
I am a lawyer after all. Okay, so. Edward, do you want to say anything?
I didn't know you were a lawyer.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we have a little bit of time left, so how about we do this? Let's just go from left to right, 2-minute closing, okay?
Oh, can you go right to left?
I can so she doesn't listen to me. When I tell her 1 minute, she's
For some reason, I'm the only one that's getting the time limit.
What about the STR issue? Yes, STR.
Oh, I thought she said that they were considering it. Did I miss something?
Only one person spoke about it. We would like to know where everybody stands.
Okay, happy. Go, Yuki.
I would like to share with you about the north-south collector road.
Oh my God.
I always hear about it.
No. I want to know something.
Because I already talked about short-term vacation rentals.
The rest of what you let's address what she's asking.
Are you in support of the bill or not?
I already said, I think earlier when I was talking about my introduction, that bill needs to be reviewed.
Okay.
It's like, can't be one way, you know. You can't go 7,000, you're out. Because there's so many variables. And we need more data is what we need
Okay.
to make
Tom?
a decision.
I'm not supportive of the way that it was unilaterally put out. I think that the Miyatoya list needs to be addressed, but we need to have clarity as far as what the expectation for housing is. We need to be realistic as far as people's rights. We need to also be realistic as far as the economic consequences, not only for taxes, but for jobs, and just in general, like the respect and the integrity of our governance as far as how we treat our people.
If you can tell me, when is the next hearing on the ordinance?
So where it is with the planning commission. And the planning commission, as you know, I think people are on vacation or whatever. Only one person showed up, I think, from the picture I saw, the commission, and so they canceled the meeting.
So wait a minute.
It's still being reviewed.
This is very, but this is very interesting. We have, on the one side, someone saying, this is critically interesting, this is so important, we need to take care of this right away. And on the other side, we're saying, well, but we're very sorry, the body, the commission that's supposed to be doing that, they can't meet because they don't have a quorum. Oh, why? Because we haven't had a hearing on the appointments yet. I mean, do you understand what's going on there?
It is very frustrating.
Well, say less.
No, it is very frustrating. And I'm just sharing with you that you can like stand on one side and focus on, I see the whole picture and it's frustrating. If the suit hadn't happened, we would have all of these things filled. So whether that was the critical deal aspect of it, or whether having the commissions all filled seats was the thing, we still don't have the independent nomination board set up. I mean, the mayor, the administration has not done that either.
Okay, so,
Can we hear what each candidate has to
Okay.
say about the STRs?
STRs.
Because we only heard.
Can I weigh in on the SDRs?
Yeah.
I think I did, but I'll
no,
repeat
no,
myself.
let's go,
Okay, well, the proposal that's on the table is putting the cart before the horse, because first of all, we don't know how many units we actually need. We don't know if people want to move into these condo units. FEMA rented 300 houses for wildfire survivors that nobody wanted to move into. So we should first go out into the community and see how many of these units we could even fill. Otherwise, we're gonna leave people who own these condo units with stranded assets that they can't rent out for short term and they won't be able to rent out for long term. The HOA fees are really high. A lot of these units in South Maui have really big issues with their pipes and leaking and rusting. And all of that improvement is gonna come down on whoever the next owner is. So I don't believe that this is a good proposal. I think if we wanted to take some of these units, we figure out how many do we need in South Maui to house people that people are willing to move into and can afford. And then we go through a process where we have anybody in the Minatoya zone have to apply for a permit. And maybe the ones that don't apply for a permit decide to do long-term rental, we help them with their repairs, because they're gonna be rentals for our residents. But right now, just putting this blanket, and the timeline that is on this is ridiculous. There's no way we're getting rid of all these units within the next 2 years. It needs to be, in my mind, it needs to be a 5 to 10 year process of figuring out how many residential units we need, because on top of the 4,800 units in South Maui that they want to switch over, they've got the community plan proposal right now is another 6,000 units. We don't need 10,000 units for our community. We can't afford to be filling that number of units in South Maui without the infrastructure, because our infrastructure can't even support who's here right now.
Okay. What do you think?
So I would like to go ahead with Yuki, because we need to figure out information, details of what to expect of this kind of short-term or long-term rentals, because I don't know if you heard, maybe the state bought, I heard about the Hangai Institute, if they bought that area.
Yeah,
So is there anybody living in that?
there will be soon.
So what is going on? How come it's not happening?
They're remodeling it so people can live there.
Okay. So how much can we fill in there? That's the thing.
I have no idea. But it's in process. It's in process.
Okay. I know we gotta get moving fast, because I don't know if the people that are staying in the hotels on the west side might be kicked up from.
No, but perhaps you listen. The Hangai Institute is designed for teachers and first responders and other people of that profession. This is not where they're going to put fire survivors. So, are they going to put some? Yeah.
That's what they were saying, the state.
For a period of time, they're going to use it for the fire survivors.
I'm missing
and then
that.
sort of rotate as they're doing the renovation.
Okay. Mr. Real Estate Broker.
Yeah, so I do support the change in the zoning rules and the laws under A1 and A2, which takes the language out that allows short-term rentals in those complexes. I do believe that the county will review certain condos and allow them to continue to operate. But I think there are apartments in Minatoya's list that will have to come out. But variances will be applied and they'll work it out. I know it seems like we're just gonna shut you all down and that's it, just, the end of it, but it's not gonna happen, we all know that. But I think there's the A1 and A2 zoning has to be adjusted back to the original intent of it. That's the first step. Renting short-term rentals in some of these residential apartments just is very difficult for some of the occupants that live in the complex, and it does create housing stress.
Do you have a timeline on this, you think?
how long it's gonna take for these guys to get it right.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know, if they could get it, it could be 5 years maybe. Yeah, hopefully they iron it out in 3. I think it's not as difficult as everybody might go on both sides of the fence. I think you can work it out where we do get housing units back and the vacation rentals continue on in certain areas and complexes.
Well,
But I
thank
think
you.
the language has to change.
thank you. Let's give a big round of applause for these people. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're about to go south
Thank you.
Road now?